Hi, it's Grace and welcome to my car. I'm just on the way to downtown Vancouver and it's a rainy day today, so I might have a bit of a challenge looking for a place to, film some videos. So I thought that I wanted to share something with you while I'm en route to the location. And I really felt inspired sharing this with you because I have a lot of people asking me about momentum. They're sharing with me that they're on this career path and maybe it's a new career path or maybe it is a career path that they've been on for some time now and they start to lose momentum. Have you ever experienced that? Have you made a decision in your career and then you started to go down this direction and you found yourself losing momentum, right? And it's one of those things where if you find yourself losing momentum, you start to question all these things. You start to doubt your ability. You start to doubt whether or not this was the right choice. You start to doubt whether or not you had the resources or the support that you needed to go down this path. And what happens when you start doubting is that you seed all of these cascade of things that kind of pile on in your mind in pointing towards that perhaps this is evidence that this is not the right path for you. And so before you go down that path, that's why I wanted to share this with you. The thing is, when you start to lose momentum, it's not that you're losing momentum and that's why this is not the right career path for you. It's better to look at the reasons for a loss of momentum. And most people, when they start to lose momentum, they feel that it's because of some external factor. It could be because, I don't have the support, or I don't have the right mentors, or maybe I don't have the right knowledge and education to go down this career path. But really, the number one reason, the biggest determining factor of a loss of momentum is that there isn't enough of a desire. Right? And what do I mean by that, right? When I say desire, I'm talking about a burning desire to have what you want to have, a burning desire to choose that career direction. And you might be thinking, well, how do I know whether or not I desire something? Or maybe it is a case where you're thinking and you're looking back in the history of your career and you're thinking, well, I don't think I ever deeply desired anything. I've just always been neutral about things. I never really had strong emotions or strong feelings about something. So I don't think I have true desires. I don't really have burning desires. I'm here to tell you that that's not true. It is simply not true. Everyone has a desire for something. Let me illustrate a point. When you were a child, if you think back to children at a young age, sometimes as parents, and if you have a young child, if you don't have a young child, you might have observed this from other children. Parents of children at a young age have difficulties disciplining their children. And one reason they have difficulty is because the child constantly wants to do something. It could be video games. It could be they always want to watch TV, or they always want to play in their playhouse, or they want to play with their toys, and they don't want to be doing what the parents want them to be doing. This is because of a burning desire. The child has a desire to engage in an activity, or the child has a desire to do something that is opposite of what their parents want them to do. You see, a burning desire is an innate quality of being human. You are born with desires. Desires are a natural part and a natural quality of being a human being. So it is not true that you don't have desires for something. What is true is that you haven't taken the time to slow down and to uncover what your desires are. So why is that? It's because you've been programmed at an early age to desire something else. Maybe your parents have been telling you that what you've been desiring is not good for you. For example, in the video game example, as parents, we don't want our children to always be having too much screen time. So we tell our children, if you play video games, it's not going to be good for your future. You won't have a future playing video games. So that type of programming, deprograms your desires from you. And if you hear this constantly from parents, from teachers, and other authorities, it eventually, you're not in touch with your desires anymore, and you don't know how to think about what you desire. Maybe you even feel guilty about desiring something because you don't want to be greedy, or you don't want to appear like you are coveting things that don't belong to you. So that guilt around desiring also prevents you from connecting with your true desires. Right, so now you might be thinking, well, hold on, Grace, are you saying that if I liked video games when I was younger, that my future career should be involved in video games? Well, the thing is not to take things literally. The reason why you liked video games as a child, if that was you or if that is your current child, there's a reason behind that. And part of understanding, part of maturity, part of understanding your inner desires is to understand the root of why video games were appealing to you, right? It could be the challenge associated with the video games. It could be some form of communication, like if you are on an online video game and it is with team members that are online. It could be that team playership that you enjoy. It could be leading others through accomplishing tasks. Right? So whatever that element of it is, the video game is simply just an expression of that root desire, of that value. So every time you connect with an activity that you desired as a child or as an adolescent or in your adulthood, think one level deeper and think another level deeper. Why do I enjoy that activity? Why do I desire doing that activity? Because just because you enjoy video games doesn't mean that that is something that you need to turn into a career. It just could simply mean it could stay as a hobby because it's something you want more of in your life. But it is important, it could give you clues if you look in deeper about why that activity is something that's desirable to you, and that representation of that activity brings out and gives you clues on what your values are. So how do you get around this? How do you figure out what your true desires are, right? And the way to do that is to separate your emotions from that question. First you have to slow down because you are inundated with so much information out there from all these sources, and now it is time to figure out what you truly want. It is time to figure out what you truly desire. And to do that, it is to come from a place of non-judgment. So whatever it is that you are going to discover, you set an intention that I am going to have a burning desire. I have a burning desire. So it is recognizing that I am human. I have an innate ability to desire things for my life, and there's nothing wrong with that. Right? So it is coming from a place of non-judgment and setting an intention that you are going to discover for yourself the desires for your life. And that is a noble thing to do, because it is only when you discover the desires for your life that you can create and build a career for yourself. And in that career, you get to serve other people, right? So it is noble that you start on this path to discovering your true desires so that you can have a purposeful and meaningful career. And the purpose of your career, the purpose of having a meaningful career, is so that in doing the work that is meaningful to you, that you make a contribution. You make a contribution to this world. You make a contribution in changing people's lives or influencing people's lives. Right? So then it is recognizing that it is your duty, it is an ethical and moral obligation, a duty to figure out that which you desire so that you can connect on your true path and be working in your purpose and on purpose. Right? So I'm here to tell you that you do have desires. Right? And that desires are a great thing. They're a noble thing, and they've been ingrained with us. We're born with wanting desires, and it's a natural thing. But along the way, you've been told that your desires were less meaningful, or you've been told that your desires were not going to shape up into a career, or you've been told that you need to feel guilty and you need to be humble, right? But here is your moment. This is your moment to open up your destiny. It is your moment to open up your future career in a way that aligns with who you really are. And in order to embrace who you really are, you have to embrace these too. You have to embrace your desires. Because if your desire is part and parcel of being human, and you're not embracing that, then there's a part of you that you're not embracing. Right? And the fundamental thing of creating and building a career of significance, of connecting to work that is meaningful to you, is being more of who you are. So it comes first from embracing your true desires. So if you are listening to this right now and you are wanting to discover more about how to discover more of who you are and to discover what your true desires are, I have created a training just for that. So click on the link somewhere here below, and it is careerrevisionist.com/masterclass, and I'll see you in the training. So comment below, what have you learned? And comment below, what were some of the things that you desired as a child that you kind of given up on? Right? So what are your true desires? Let me know. I want to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this content, if it spoke to you, give me a thumbs up as well. And remember to subscribe to my channel. Just ring that bell below so that you receive notifications each time I upload a new video.